All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Louis-René Auclair, sitting with John Peterson from Jam City. We have some questions, fireside chat for the Jam City strategy for mergers and acquisition. Maybe we can start with just introing yourself before we go right in there, so we know who you are.
Yeah, so I'm John Peterson. I run corporate development for Jam City. We are based in Los Angeles, just over 500 employees now, 6 offices. 2 in San Francisco, 1 in Seattle, 1 in San Diego, and 1 in Buenos Aires. Yeah, we started off in 2010, and we've kind of grown initially through acquisition. We acquired a company called MindJolt, and then from there we acquired SGN. That was our former name before Jam City. We changed a year ago, and with that, we acquired a studio called Mob Science out of San Diego. And what kind of put us on the map was the first game we gave them was called Cookie Jam. And Cookie Jam, we've grown from there to Panda Pop, which is the #1 bubble shooter in the world, and Family Guy match 3 game that came out last year. So yeah, we're growing and excited to be here.
Cool. So we're talking, financing, raising money, M&A. You guys have been on both sides. You did the acquisition of TinyCo, and you've also raised a strategic partnership with Netmarble. Tell us a bit about the position of that kind of strategy, M&A, within the overall corporate strategy of Jam City.
Yeah, so it was 2 years ago. We were going out to raise money, and we looked at VCs, investment banks, and private equity firms, et cetera. And really for us, the most important thing was finding a partner that understood our business and got it. And Netmarble is a fantastic partner. They know exactly what happens when, quote unquote, shit hits the fan. We're a mobile gaming company. They don't freak out. They understand. They've been through it. And also, we're not very good in the East. So when we choose to go there, they're there for us and ready to help out and assist. And vice versa, they weren't very good in the West, and we helped them quite a bit there. So it was a perfect partnership for us. And with that round of financing, we had a tranche of cash to go out and make acquisitions, and that was our first acquisition was TinyCo.
So talking about the acquisition of TinyCo and acquisition of studios, so you guys have a roadmap, you do product. What's the position of M&A per se in your growth strategy, your looking forward strategy?
Yeah, so we're pretty good at casual games, match 3, bubble shooting, more female skewing games, and that's for our long-term strategy. That's not going to work for us. So we need diversification. That's why we were looking for, studios that had something that we couldn't do. We're not going to go out and try to be a builder studio. We're not going to go out and try to be a mid-core studio. We don't do that well. So we know casual, and we think going out and doing more acquisitions versus organic growth and diversification is important for us.
Cool. So, we see it's really important for people, the roadmap, right? The games that are coming. You have a strategy. You have a strategy of growth that's both product and studios. Obviously, when we look at your acquisitions, you're not hiring for people. You're not hiring to increase the staff. What do you look for in a studio? When you're meeting with all the studios, what do you look for in them that's that spark that says, this is a good target for Jam City?
Yeah. Obviously, strong teams that are experts in what they do, and that have had success. Those are more established companies, and know how to run a business, because we kind of let them run autonomously with the menu of services that we do offer. And yeah, for the indies, for the companies that are just getting started out, creativity, teams that have potentially had success in the past, but that have games out potentially in soft launch, maybe even pre-soft launch, that have certain KPIs that they're going to hit and meet, and need our help. I mean, we have a pretty good list of offerings for younger companies and whatnot, be it UA, be it machine learning. It's exciting to offer that to the.
So maybe we can dive a bit deeper in that front. So when you meet those studios that have that gem, that gold star game that is going to be successful, and you start courting them and trying to get them interested in Jam City, how do you approach them? What's your selling points for Jam City? You talked about machine learning and UA, but I don't want you to give us your pitch because, well, maybe you can if you want. But just give us some of the pointers. How do you approach that point?
Yeah, I mean, it's from going to events like this and meeting companies with just incredible passion, and great games that maybe we haven't seen before. Looking at those, just relationships with bankers, and that's how we find these guys, and when we get test flights out and we play the games, and we actually get to really dig in and know where the holes are and know where we could help and offer advice, and so it's multitude of different ways we look at them, but just really digging in and finding the next hot company.
Okay, so when you travel these shows, you meet a lot of studios, a lot of indie devs that are trying to make it, are trying to get funding to make their big games, their dream game. What advice would you have to them for them? What would you tell these guys if they were here? Probably some of them are.
Yeah.
How to make this work for them?
Yeah, I just stay heads down, obviously, and get the game to where it's playable, and if it's in soft launch, make sure you hit your KPIs. That's super important, and know what those KPIs should be, and if at all possible, be strategic on how you find your financing, because you truly want to find a partner that understands your business, and I wouldn't just take the first check that comes across.
Yeah, that's the thing. Raising money, sometimes you find yourself that you only have one person looking at you, and you're in a position strategically to almost pretend that you have more, otherwise you're going to be forced to take whatever check. And I think it's a true story for a lot of people out there. Raising money at the beginning is very difficult. So I really want to get to the people's questions, but I have more questions that I just came up with, so I'm really sorry about putting you on the spot right now. You've seen studios from everywhere, from Asia, Europe, North America, South America. Can you give us a big overview of what you see, the big difference between the developers in these regions? What's different from what you see in Europe than what you see in North and South America? How do you approach these studios, and what's their USPs?
Yeah, so really excited about European developers. They work super fast and quick, and just iterate, and release. And that's great, especially a lot different than the U.S. We don't work that fast. We want to, but it's harder for us. South America, talking to some studios down there, really talented developers, and it seems they were more geared to just staying within their region, and now they're kind of stepping out a bit, and that's exciting, and they're coming up with some amazing products. Yeah, so we're talking to a few there right now, which is it's very exciting. So,
do you see the regional impact being strong? So I travel to South America as well, and what I see in South America is they often do games a lot more for themselves, right? They're going to start a game with a storyline that's extremely local to Colombia or to Argentina, whereas in Europe you don't see that different. How do you approach that when their original games market is more focused? Do you come out and say, let's change the theme, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, we're doing it right now. But luckily, there's this one studio. We're under NDA. I apologize, so I can't name them. But yeah, I mean, in the past, their games have been, developed for their specific region, and we asked them why, and they said that's our comfort zone. That's what we know. But they're coming out with this really great game, and like this is way beyond. I'm like, yep, they totally changed their mentality, and want to go worldwide with this, and we'll see how it goes. It's it's a long shot, but it's one that we pretty excited about.
Cool. It's tough to change that mindset sometimes. You have so much to do when you're making a game. Staying in your comfort zone of doing a game that you're familiar with the theme or the story,
right.
Sometimes helps. So you guys made a strategic partnership with Netmarble, because they were not that great in the West. You had some trouble in the East. Do you find those similarities as well when you're looking at studios in the East? Are you guys able to go there and have a communication with Asian studios that makes sense on an M&A front?
Yeah, honestly, we haven't really looked that closely in the East yet. We still think we can do better in Europe, and North America for that matter, and maybe South America. And the East, Panapop does really well in Japan, and that's really our only game that does well over there. So yeah, we honestly haven't strategically looked there yet. But that's
there's
coming.
so many in the close backyard.
Yeah. I know.
So before I go to questions, I have one last question. What do you see is the next steps for Jam City as a whole, right? So you guys are very strong in the casual market. Mm-hmm. Are you guys looking at VR, at AR? Are you expanding through M&A in that front? Are you guys looking at PC? So just tell us a bit what you're looking for in your next roadmaps and your future.
Yeah. No, we're not looking at VR and AR as of now. Mobile only right now, no PC. Yeah, and again, we're good at casual, so certainly mid-core is something we're definitely looking at right now. A number of different opportunities. Casual, just because we know it so well, we know how to buy for it. Our UA team's stellar at that. Casino, we've looked at a number of different ones, and we just haven't pulled the trigger on that. So I think, we'd certainly look at that. But right now, there's just some fantastic mid-core studios, mid-core games out there.
Cool. Well, thank you. I mean, we're almost done. We had a very short time. There's about 5 minutes left. Open for question. John is willing to take almost any questions. That's not under NDA for him to answer. So please feel free. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much for the talk. Two questions. At the back.
Hi. Right in the light.
Hey.
Right there, yes.
Sorry, guys.
all good.
Could you talk a little bit about valuation bases, particularly, just it's a very big subject, but perhaps particularly the weight put on past performance compared with your future plans? And second question, if there's time, are your acquisitions always 100% acquisitions, or are they occasionally smaller stake strategic investments, and how do you think about that? Thank you.
Yeah. Valuations, kind of industry standard. We used to look at trailing 12, still do. But a lot of times now, if you get a hot game, hot studio, you do multiples of revenue because they don't have any EBITDA if they're new and you have to do that. So, but yeah, 3x if you will, top line, 8 to 13, depending on what type of studio you're looking at. EBITDA bottom line. And sorry, your second question.
Are your acquisitions always 100% ownership?
Oh, yeah, thank you. No, they are not. For the most part, we do 100% acquisition, but if it's a strategic move, we'll definitely make a minority investment.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Thanks, Just bring the microphone. Yeah. I think I'm loud enough. I'll just when John, when you describe Jam Cities, parts of the language you use sound more like you're strategic, and parts of it sound like you're an investor, almost like a financial investor, but then also like a strategic company. Do you guys see yourselves as a blend of both, or do you see yourself as a, we often think about having a financial investor as one style of investment, and then we think of a strategic as a different style of investment. But it sounds like Jam City is a hybrid of that. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say so. We do invest, but generally we invest in what we need as a company. We want to grow. We have ambitions to IPO in the next year or so, 2 years. So as far as an investor, we invest not just in we'll take a percentage of this company. It's generally 100% of the companies to grow and diversify what we currently have. If that makes sense.
Any other questions?
All right. Thank you, guys.